into that shadow palette that Seint put together. I guess it's lip and cheek and shadow. So we're going to start with this color here. It's called Claire. It's a really pretty neutral and it is pink. It is not orange. So we're going to do this all over the lid and keep your eye closed. If you don't have a hooded eye, open that baby up if you have a hooded eye so you can see. I am going pretty generous above my crease. These nice neutral matte shadows are fantastic for a transition shade. So if I open my eye, you can see it. If I close my eye, you can see it, but there's no stark line. Okay, so what they did then is they used, I'm trying to remember what they did for their tutorial. I think they did Moscow all over the lid, and then they did pomegranate on the outside corner. Okay, all right, so we're going to the other side of this brush. I'm gonna pick up my little moon here, and we're just going to go on the, okay, so I just took pomegranate on the outside. I'm tapping it on. We're gonna flip over to the other side of the brush and just blend it out. I have used this silly half moon thing way more than I thought I would. I love it. I love it. Okay, so then they did Moscow. I like to use the shimmers on my fingers. So I'm gonna do two colors because they also gave us this beautiful highlight, which is Photoshop, which is one of my absolute favorites, you can tell. So we're gonna do, oops, a little bit of Moscow. I'm gonna do that kind of in the middle part of my lid. Ooh, okay. Moscow in the middle, and then I'm going to take a little bit of Photoshop and do that on the inner corner. So we were going from lightest to darkest. Okay, I'll do the other side too so you can see. And then we're going to do Philly as kind of an eyeliner situation. Do Philly on, we're going to smudge it along like an eyeliner. I'm taking this line brush that is old. It's missing the spoolie on the end. So taking a little bit of Philly and smudging a little bit. I'm gonna grab a little bit more. Philly is a really beautiful dark brown. It is quite warm though. In the video, they filled that beautiful lady's eyebrows with it. It is a very pretty color, especially if you are a redhead and you are warm. Okay, actually, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna go along and smudge Philly. I'm smudging it because I don't have the patience to do it as like an eyeliner. But look at how that kind of carried everything together. And I just love how it makes the eye connect. We'll put some mascara on and then we'll come over here and do kiss the person that invented mascara. Who did it? It makes such a huge difference, doesn't it? Okay, so that's the look. That's kind of inspired. I did my own little twist on it, but let's do a little bit of this lip and cheek. So this is Nude. This is the matte shade. Nude is a fan favorite. Very, very similar to Plum. Very similar to Plum, a little less plummy, but still really pretty. So a little nude, and I am going to pop a little bit of Desert Sunset right on top. I'm going to take my my blush and bronze brush and tap that in. So pretty. Okay, let's do the same over here because my fingers are already dirty with this. Add a little bit. I was going to add this to my lips, but I had some questions. I was just looking at my messages and I had some questions asking if I would show how to share. You do get this lip conditioner. So we'll put this down. We'll put the lip conditioner down. It feels good. And it's nice that it's handy right there. Okay, so now this next side, we're gonna go and do pretty much the exact same thing. We're gonna go into our matte neutral shade here, which is Claire. Then we're gonna do generously all over our lid and making sure we're carrying it all the way above where our crease is. Especially if you have a hooded eye. If you have a hooded eye, as soon as you close or open your eye, you're gonna lose that. So it's light enough that it's not going to take a tremendous amount of time to blend, but it's just going to add a little bit of color to your lid. Okay, now I'm gonna go into my little moon and grab a little bit of this pomegranate color. So I'm gonna place my moon. I will link this for you guys also. And we're gonna smudge. Hold still. Okay, so you can see where I got a little on this moon. This is really nice, especially if you are kind of sloppy and you have fallout or you make a mess. Then we're gonna just blend. blend a little bit, and you can carry it in if you want to. Okay. All right, now we're gonna go into Moscow. This is gonna go right in the middle. Right in the middle. So don't worry about getting too wild or making sure that you're perfect right here. Nobody has time to do perfect eyeshadow. Maybe people do, but I do not in the morning. Now I'm going into Photoshop and it's a little bit lighter. So we're doing kind of like an ombre. We're going lightest to darkest. And I always suggest your shimmers on the inner corner because it will pop. Don't do it all over your lid. Not saying you can't. I my old brush with Philly and going to smudge a little bit along the top of my lash line to the outer corner. Not much at all. And then what I did over here, because I was impatient, I took a little bit of Philly and smudged it down here. This is a great way to connect the two, especially if you are trying to get away from wearing black eyeliner along your lash line. And I don't know if you tight line. I don't wear eyeliner, but tight lining is really a great option too because you can carry that eyeliner right along the inner part of the bottom of your lash line. Okay, I'm going to go into my other palette and go into Bird. This is what I fill my brows with. So we'll do a little bit of that mascara that I wear. It is a really wet formula, so that's not for everyone. It's also a big fat spoolie, which I love, but I think a lot of people really like those little micro silicone spoolies. I don't love those. They're fine, but I prefer something like this. Okay, whoops. If you make a mess, I'll show you how to get that cleaned up. So I like to blink it on because I don't curl my lashes. So that is basically one layer. I'll let this dry a little bit, then I'll go in. You just need a little bit more. So you can go in here, let it set for a second, and then put coat 2 on. Right, there are 2 coats. I'm letting that little speck of mascara dry. You want to let it dry for a second, and then you'll take your spoolie just very gently. And instead of going in with like a Q-tip or something where you can see exactly where it came off, all you're going to do is kind of smudge it off. There we go. All right, now I'm going to go in with my City Beauty matte lips. I'm going to show you what I do typically. So I did put a little of that lip conditioner on. Also, you get a lot on this applicator, so I always wipe the excess off, and that's exactly how I put layer 1 down. I let it dry for a second. It dries, it goes on fairly wet. And then what I do is this pink taupe. So we're going into pink taupe. We'll wipe the excess off and line. Grab Rosy Mauve so you can actually see what I'm doing. Pink taupe and blush rose are pretty darn similar in shade. So we're going in with Rosy Mauve instead. And you can see my lips have dried down to more of a matte shade. So I wipe excess off here and then I go along and I really just line the Cupid's bow. I overline the Cupid's bow and then I start to carry it in. So then you don't get like way out of control. All right. And then overline a little bit on the very bottom and carry it on the inside. Let it sit. Sometimes I smudge and there you go.